Now, I'm going to introduce the first moderator for the first panel, and it's going to be my colleague. Very happy to have him. He's been instrumental in organizing this whole conference, and he is also the director of the Entrepreneurial Institute here at Dominguez. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Dick. So now we get to have some fun. I feel the love in the room on entrepreneurship. How many people are entrepreneurs in this room? Come on, everybody is an entrepreneur, whether you're acting, practicing, or recovering from. So my name is Grimshaw. I don't know if you have any slides for us, but I don't have any slides other than we have some great people here today, and I'm going to bring them up because we're running a few minutes behind. At the Entrepreneurial Institute, we promote entrepreneurship, all things, on this campus and in the community. I've been running it, this is our 5th year. We have speakers, we have incubation, we have events, all ways for people to pursue entrepreneurship. So I want to point out a couple of people in the room. Oh, Michael, you're hanging in. Good to see you. All right, thanks. Even though he's an academic, he's definitely entrepreneurial in spirit. Where are my students at? I've got a few students here today. So, come on, stand up. Come on, guys, stand up. Where you go? All right. These are entrepreneurship students, and I'd like to say they've come out of love and to brave the rain, but they do get some credit for being here today. So. It's the way it works in our world, isn't it? If you get credit, you seem to be a little more motivated. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up our team. We have 6 people that are braving this world of entrepreneurship, and they want to share a little bit about what they're doing. Obviously, this is a little bit of a government interaction. We've got some great economic development people, and I was telling Tess, where's Tess at? Hi, Tess. Fran, that's Tess back there. You want to meet with her? There you go. This is Fran right there. This is a great way to network and connect. I was telling Tess I started after semi-retiring out of the high-tech world in the late 2000s, and we hit a recession. Now, is that a good time to start a business during a recession? What are you guys saying? Yes? No? Yes?
Depends on the business.
It's absolutely one of the best times to start a business. People are looking for help, they're looking for innovation, they're looking for new things, there's not big jobs to be had. It's the innovators, creators, and startups that really make the world turn, as Jose mentioned. So I started teaching at Marymount, California University, and my students couldn't get jobs. And so I said, well, let's start working on entrepreneurship with them. And so we did, and I found that many of my students now have graduated, have gone on and started businesses, and they've gone to whole new lifestyles and changes because of that. So I'm hoping that as folks that I get a chance, and I love my job, I get a chance to work with young people as they grow and expand. So I brought a panel together of some folks that are experienced in various aspects of entrepreneurship. And so let me call them up to the stage one at a time. And Henry, are you ready to come up?
Oh yeah, sure.
Okay, this is Henry Shue. And he's in the shoe business, okay? So, a little branding thing here, but he'll explain that to you when he comes up. So Henry, come on up, grab a seat, and we'll go from there. So, Brian, got a minute?
Yep.
Well, come on up. Brian is I was talking to him before, I've just met him. He's got a company in Torrance that is awesome. Has anybody ever had a water leak in their house? Ryan's company will detect that and tell you that it's happening before you have any damage. So I hope. I don't want to paraphrase your business. I'm going to have each one of these folks introduce themselves, give them a minute or two when they can sit down. So why don't you guys grab a seat real quick and go. Craig. This is Craig Carroll. Craig is entrepreneur extraordinaire, and he'll tell you a little bit about some of the work he's doing in the electrical planning business. And he's actually working on our campus here as well. So who am I missing here? Where's my people? There we go. Matt, come on up. I just met Matt today. I talked to him on the phone. He was in Poland last time we talked. He's all over by global, and I have no idea what time zone he's in mentally here, but we'll find out. But he's in the food truck business, and which he'll explain to you what that means exactly. Patty, come on up, Patty Schmucker. I've known Patty for a number of years. She's just an awesome, she just came back from Bologna at the World Cup of Cosmetics, and will tell us a little bit about that. And last but not least, Brian, come on. This is Brian Augerby. Brian is a contestant. In 2 weeks, he'll be standing on a stage like this in front of panelists competing for $50,000 in prizes. He's been selected in the Final Four at Cal State Long Beach in their Innovation Challenge. And I have the pleasure of mentoring Brian, and I asked him to come and share a little bit about his augmented reality project that he's working with. So without further ado, I'm going to ask each of the panelists to take a few minutes, 2 minutes, introduce themselves, give us a little elevator pitch on what they do, and we'll start with Craig.
Good morning, I'm Craig Carroll, and my company is Smart CSM. It's a web-based tool or a SaaS tool, software as a service, for large commercial institutions like Cal State Dominguez Hills to track and manage their electrical infrastructure. Really about taking the data from print to digital, as-builds, floor plans, where an affected area is. It's kind of a heady concept, but believe it or not, there's an incredible zoo of wires in a place like this that most people don't know, or you might have one old sort of Scatman Crothers who's been here for 30 years and he knows. And so we're sort of innovating that. We just closed a deal with the city of Manhattan Beach. But less about my product, and by the way, I apologize, I have to leave early today, but I want to share with you that Dr. Martinez talked about, is city government grit? Does it slow the process down? I couldn't disagree more with that concept, and I want to share with you that the reason our company is here today is because of people like Mike Grimshaw and Cal State Dominguez Hills and the South Bay Economic Development Group and many, many city and state and resources that we tapped into. It cost us nothing. And we came to Mike and his South Bay Economic Institute with really a germ of an idea and a very poorly constructed minimum viable product that really didn't work well at all. And they took that germ of an idea and they, over a period of a year, mentored us, put us in front of groups, let us pitch, introduced us to other successful entrepreneurs in the space. I mean, the type of connectivity, there's no way we could have done on our own. As a result, we were able to raise $500,000. We used that to build a proper product. We brought that to market. We were able to raise $1.5 million. Every step of the way, we were mentored by city officials, state government, people that asked nothing in return, but that we create jobs. So now we have 6 new employees. Most of them are from the South Bay. It's really a testament to a private-public partnership. I think I probably went on beyond my 2 minutes ago. So thank you very much for having me.
Greg's real shy about talking in public, but this is a good breakthrough for him today. Matt.
Is this, okay. My name is Matt Geller. I do everything in the food truck industry except run a food truck. I started the first regional food truck association in 2010. We changed the laws in over 30 cities. 13 of those cities we had to sue to do it, but we opened up opportunities for food trucks all over Southern California. From there, I helped start regional associations all over the country. I currently run the Regional Association for Southern California, the National Food Truck Association. When doing all that, I found there was a serious lack of organization within food trucks and where they go, so I started a company called Lot Mom, which allowed organizers to post locations, say which trucks are allowed, which cuisines, how many trucks could go, and the trucks could register and pay, and then the organizer would get paid. Cities use it, Wilmington, Delaware, the city of Montreal, and organizers all around the country. I combined that with another company and merged. It's now called Best Food Trucks. Now we're a funded tech company that allows not just the booking, but also customers to pay from their phone and pick up from the food truck. I deal with entrepreneurs every day. I'm an entrepreneur myself. I have a lot of interesting stories about how we worked with government rather in a difficult sense in the beginning and now in a much better sense.
Thanks, Matt. Let's go down the line, Ryan. There you go.
My name is Ryan Kim. I'm the CEO of Fin LLC in Torrance. We specialize in detecting water leaks in your home. So it's a very high-tech device. It's one device that you install in your house, and it monitors the entire plumbing system. So if you have a small leak in the upstairs corner bathroom, this one device that gets installed can detect that, alert you for it. If it detects that the leak starts to get damaging, then it's got a shut-off valve that automatically turns off, alert you, give you access remotely over your smartphone from anywhere to understand how much water is being used, where it's going, and to be able to open and close the shut-off valve whenever you want. Back in 2009, the UN published a report on the global water crisis at the time. And what they said in that report that was staggering was that in 20 years, 2/3 of the world's population will suffer from affordability of clean water. So when you look at that number and the billions of people that are on the planet, that's scary. And so we looked at this and said, surely somebody must be looking at this. We're not the only ones shocked by this report. And we scoured the world and found very little innovation happening in this space. Plumbing systems and water management and leak prevention, water conservation, those kinds of things were not big issues. This wasn't 4 years ago when California was in the middle of a drought. This was 9 years ago or 10 years ago. And so we started down this road of incubating and researching and creating technologies that could really understand how this works. And so what we have today is artificial intelligence. It's very similar to how Alexa understands your speech and can interact with you, or how Tesla autopilot cars can tell the difference between trees and shadows through the experience of driving. So this sort of artificial intelligence that we have in our devices and sensors monitors a lot of the dynamics that are happening in your plumbing system and can tell the difference between normal activity and abnormal activity, and alert you about those things and provide the kind of information that can help you manage your home, manage the quality of life in the home for the water that your family consumes, and so on and so forth, in a really great way. A word about entrepreneurship. So I didn't start off thinking, well, I'm going to be an entrepreneur for the rest of my life. And it just happened that that's a path that you kind of look back at my life, it's a path that I kind of took. And more so than entrepreneurship, I think, for me, it was about problem solving. It was about seeing problems, being aware enough about all the things that we do and the way that things are, and looking for better ways of doing things. So in college, I started my first company when I was in college at UCLA School of Engineering. And I had an internship at the medical center where I saw an incredible amount of waste.
Brian, could we move on just a little bit? I'll come back to you. I know you got a lot of good things to share, and I want to make sure, but we got time too. So go ahead, Henry.
Hi, my name is Henry Xu, and I'm the founder of Open Corporation and inventor of Savivas. What Saviva is an athletic recovery footwear. Now, you ask, well, what is athletic recovery footwear? Let me see a show of hands. Anybody ever, their feet hurts at the end of the day? Anybody that hurts?
Your feet hurt?
Yeah. Well, that's exactly what it's for. Is before and after you run, you practice, jog, play basketball, and perform. Your feet hurts right after the sport. Well, what do? When you put on. And Saviva is a solution for that. It's designed for recovery, for your comfort and support. I brought a sample here, so later on you guys can take a look at it.
Good, Henry. We'll come back and take a look at it in a few minutes. So.
Yeah, so it's great that to be in Torrance. We moved here in 2008, and I think what's great about Southern California, especially around here, is that it's a hotbed of manufacturing. And to get a product produced, you have so many expertise and talents around the area, and very supportive entrepreneurship. People like Grimshaw, where I joined SBC at the first iteration, received a tremendous amount of help. It's just it's been a fantastic learning experience, and this all started when I want to prove to myself whether I can design and develop something totally unique and bring it to market. And it's been great, and I'm happy to share any of my experience, my ups and downs, success and failures, and for everyone to learn from.
Thanks, Henry. Okay?
Thank you. I'm going to stand up because I'm short enough that it makes a difference. My name is Patty Smucker, and my company is called American Made Beauty, and we're the good housekeeping seal of approval for brands made in America. We have 4 revenue streams. One is that we have an e-commerce platform, AmericanMadeBeauty.com, where we sell beauty products made in America to consumers. The second revenue stream is that we provide a verification service for those brands to make sure that they are producing their products in a manner that provides for you, the consumer, a safe product. And as a result of that, we have our third revenue stream, which is consulting, education, and in May of this year, we will launch a crowdfunding platform on our website. And then the fourth level of revenue stream that we have is that once we have distribution-ready brands, we have the largest manufacturer rep group in the world, that we can take a brand globally with just a matter of a phone call. So those are our 4 revenue streams, and my involvement and my company has really been successful as a result of the relationships on both the city, state, county, federal level, including receiving a grant from the federal government to produce the Beauty Industry Market Access Program. It's the only program in the United States where we actually help beauty companies navigate the international waters. In the last 5 years, we've helped about 100 companies produce $40 million in new export sales.
Oh, nice, Patty. Good to see you. All right, Brian, you want to stand up? And...
Can everyone hear me?
No.
Good morning, my name is Brian Ambergy. I'm the co-founder and CEO of StickUp, an augmented reality company based in Long Beach. Who's heard of augmented reality? All right. Anyone currently with an AR app on their phone? Okay, a couple Pokemon Go players here. Well, augmented reality is a smartphone technology that overlays digital graphics on top of the real world that you can only see when you're looking through the camera on your smartphone. We're currently on the verge of what we like to call the heads-up internet, where instead of just looking down into our devices, we'll actually be looking up through them to experience parts of the internet all around us. 2017 was a big year because Apple and Google both updated their software to put this technology into literally hundreds of millions, if not billions of hands. And so that's when we saw Google put out the stormtrooper in your living room, and Snapchat put the dancing hot dog on your coffee table. And while those experiences are very fun, they're meant for individuals. So that means one person looking at one dancing hot dog at one time that no one else can see. So we take a fundamentally different approach and focus on creating communal augmented reality experiences that multiple users can interact with at the same time. So one way that we are similar to the Stormtrooper or the dancing hot dog is that we focus on certain enterprise use cases for sales professionals who can benefit from augmented reality. So in my day job, I use it to help my solar clients envision what the panels are going to look like on their roof prior to install. We also have a curator at a local museum in Long Beach who uses the technology to chart out their future exhibitions without having to hang anything on the wall. We're working with the city government in Long Beach on another collaboration at the newly redesigned Harvey Milk Park. That'll be coming out later this year. And then in addition to that, we're also working with local bars and restaurants who maybe want to put a secret drink deal up on the wall that people can only see when they're using our app to do so. So it's an exciting time right now. Pokemon Go is just the beginning. That company is about to release Harry Potter Go. There's a Ghostbusters game coming out. So you're going to start to see this technology eat more and more of the world.
Thanks, Brian. Brian's not really here, by the way. Okay, this is just a hologram. Okay, we conjured that up. So So thanks guys for running down a little bit about your backgrounds and what you're doing. I guess the 800-pound gorilla in the room is, and that's the reason for this conference, is the interaction with the local resources and community that you have experienced. And you touched on it a little bit, and I'm going to start back down with Patty, and then maybe you guys can reflect on it. Give us an experience specifically that you had where somebody helped you in your local community and maybe somebody hindered you or was not as helpful, so we can learn from that as well. Okay? Thank you, Pat.
Thank you. So we, as I mentioned earlier, I had the opportunity to look at the small business development centers here in the South Bay area. They're all over the United States, but essentially that is a resource that provides for entrepreneurs free consulting in all of the major disciplines of running a business. And I went to them because I had a beauty product line in the marketplace, and I felt here in Southern California we're sort of the epicenter for the beauty industry. A lot of innovation takes place right here, and there's a lot of beauty companies. And I thought, I wonder if they have anybody that specializes in beauty. And I found out that in fact they didn't, and so they engaged my services to provide consulting services specifically for companies in the beauty industry. And that was sort of the first leg of this process in which we ended up with a grant from the federal government to actually create this program where we began educating companies about navigating international waters and being able to take companies to, I just returned from Bologna, which is the Super Bowl of the beauty industry. Think of the Los Angeles Convention Center and multiply it by 20. That's how big this show is. You can't start at the very first day of the show and walk for the 5 days of the show and see it all. It's that big. And we for the last 5 years have been taking companies to the show and being able to subsidize some of their expenses as a result of government resources. We've engaged the services of XM Bank, U.S. Commercial Services. It's been a phenomenal, wonderful success in coordinating all of those groups together. So that's the positive. The negative part of it is a painstaking process to coordinate all of these entities. XM Bank, which is a portion of the government, which is an insurance resource for small businesses to be able to fund or give credit to foreign customers, is not a bank, and it doesn't export. So what the hell does it do? It's one of those things. U.S. Commercial Services, which is the Department of Commerce, they have resources available. Getting them to follow up and follow through is very difficult. The mayor's office has a new to export initiative. The Milken Institute has a new to export initiative. LA Port Tech, City, all these different entities have all these different things that are going on, and none of them are talking to one another. And so an entrepreneur is overwhelmed with the various different types of resources that are there, and how do you tap into it? Fortunately for the beauty industry, we've sort of become that hub. For beauty industries, are sort of the filter and allowing for beauty companies to tap into American-made beauty, and we'll guide you through not only the international waters, but what kind of waters exist right here, what kind of free resources exist right here that you can access. But most industries don't have what we've been able to build for the beauty industry. So it's been a wonderful experience, recognizing all those resources are there, but it's like drinking from a fire hose to be able to understand all of the resources, all of the changing objectives based on the political environment that takes place, and being able to actually put them to use.
So you have a lot of people that want to help, but you got to sort all that out because it takes time to get involved and so forth. So you had experience with that, man? What's your...
Well, the first experience we had was the word policy. When I first started in the food truck industry, it had been around for a long time. Anybody that's from Southern California knows the traditional Lancheros trucks. I grew up eating from them. And so when the gourmet food truck movement came in, we ran into a lot of roadblocks. Los Angeles County has 88 cities. Each city has its own municipal government. But one of the biggest ones was the health department. They had created policy over a period of about 20 years. And with a lot of back and forth, a lot of food trucks shut down. I started the Food Truck Association because my friend had had his truck shut down for 2 weeks over something they're not even allowed to do at all anymore. So, you know, a culmination of a lot of very, what we thought, aggressive enforcement tactics, to the point where they shut down one of our trucks. We brought a lawyer in during their hearing. They told him he couldn't have a lawyer present. And they could have taken away his permit. So, like, no due process. It was absolute madness. In the end, it went down to, I said, these are your policies, this is the law. Draw a line from the policy to the law it represents, and we're cool. The exact words were, Matt, maybe you're right, but I got a building full of attorneys and you don't. But I did tell him one thing that I can share with you in kind of the spirit of an entrepreneur was I have all the time in the world, you have a million things to do every day, all I gotta do is get you. It was kind of a fun back and forth. I'm from Venice, he was from Venice. But what I did was I pulled 15,000 pages worth of documents, showed very easily they had inspected over 1,800 food trucks, only inspected trucks in affluent neighborhoods. I brought that to a public meeting of the supervisors. I said, you don't care about public health. In the third meeting with the lawyers and everybody from the county, after they had laughed at me for the first 2 meetings, they apologized. They said they were going to fix it. 6 months later, we had everything we wanted. Now my relationship with the LA County Health Department has been wonderful. I bring up issues, they say, you're right. They bring up issues, I try to help them fix them. But in the beginning, a lot of times, you know, with the sand analogy, you mentioned, that's what we were dealing with. And food trucks all over the country are doing it. But I think once they get back to what their goal is, protect public health, protect public safety, and do what's right, sometimes you just have to shake them out of their ego. There's not a lot of resources for food trucks. We're the biggest resource there is. And it's cool to hear that you guys have had so many resources. But on the national level, we've done our best to help out all these regional associations so they can do what we do here.
Good, man. Thank you. How many food trucks do we have in Southern California?
There are over 2,700 permitted with the County of Los Angeles. The majority of them are traditional rancheros trucks. Then you have ice cream trucks. The gourmet trucks is a designation that they've kind of given to themselves because they have the exact same permit as the rancheros.
Yeah, the lobsters and stuff like that.
Yeah, and then you also have the movie catering trucks who, through some crazy way, were able to pull themselves out of the enforcement division that deals with all the other trucks and put them into another enforcement division who are a lot nicer. So that was one of my first complaints. That Food and Milk dealt with the movie catering trucks, same permit and vehicle inspection program. Now they're all nice, so it's okay.
Good. Sounds like you did a great job. Go on. I think those cities have a plan, maybe the economic development people. I'm going to ask for some questions from the audience here in a second. So if you have some things that you want to ask our panelists. But from a standpoint of competing with brick and mortar type restaurants and so forth, where food trucks are very mobile, they can set up anywhere and so on, isn't that a big problem?
I mean, the thing I always said when we first started was, well, in 1979 there was a case. The city of Los Angeles said you couldn't park within 100 feet of within 100 feet of a brick and mortar restaurant. It was struck down by the state court. The appellate court upheld the strike down. They said that's an unconstitutional naked restraint of trade. Like the government, that's what I tell them. Focus on public health, focus on public safety. As soon as you start to get involved with who the winners and the losers in the economy should be, you're not doing what you should for the consumers and the constituents.
And let free trade take a run. Brian, what's been your experience? Not with food trucks particularly, but with. Do you allow food trucks outside your shop?
I love food trucks.
You love food trucks.
Actually, when we had our open house, we had a food truck do all the catering for us. So, big fan of the food truck industry. No,
Plus minus. You have an experience,
yeah. So with government and policies, when we were looking for our headquarters, we had a couple of unique requirements. One was we're going to induce a lot of leaks. So the water is going to be all over the place. We need a lot of plumbing things, and it didn't meet our requirements. Didn't meet a lot of the plumbing codes that the cities require in order to permit that kind of business. So it was a process of education that we had to go back and forth with. So I mean, I think that the big challenge here is sort of posturing or maybe attitude, I think is the right way to think about it, is how does the public facilities, the utilities, the government, the policymakers, how do they lean in to entrepreneurship and innovation and supporting that versus leaning back? So, and what I mean by that is, leaning back is, we have our policies, here you go, make sure you comply, send it back to us, we'll come inspect it, and if you pass, you're good to go, right? That's generally how that works, right? I don't know if anybody's, the first time you walk into that office and you're trying to get something going, that's how it works, right? And then the question comes up, well, what if our requirements don't meet these particular policies? Where do I go? There's not a department for that. There's not another form, another process for that, generally speaking. Right? So leaning in is, okay, tell me about your unique requirements. Why does your business or your idea or your requirements, go against that? And how do we then work with you to, not put the public at safety or anything like that at risk per se, but try to figure that out. Even when we had the fire department come and do the inspection, if you come to our office, you'll see plumbing all over the place.
You're in Torrance, in an industrial area of Torrance?
Yeah, in an industrial area.
Okay.
Actually, we're sort of in the middle of all of the microbreweries that are popped up over there.
Great location.
Yeah, but that was great. But it took a little bit of time working with the city of Torrance to kind of help them understand and appreciate what we're doing. But once that clicked, then it was a great partnership, right? Then it was, folks coming down and learning about what the requirements are and thinking about it and looking at the policies and saying, okay, you know what, I think we can do it. If you guys changed a little bit of this, we could change a little bit of that,
Good.
and then we could make it work in that kind of partnership. But it took a little bit of effort for that leaning in to happen. And so the thinking for me would be, think about how innovation and entrepreneurship is about challenging existing things and solving problems in ways that haven't been done before. Policies are about protecting the ways things have been. So how do you kind of...
Well, I think that's the session here for the idea is let's bring people together and see, because, there's creative thinking that doesn't always take place in academia, so to some degree. So,
I mean, if you look at, for example, the smoke detectors in homes, right? That came about because homes burned and people died, and it was a reactive thing. That's a leaning back kind of thing.
So like stoplights at the corner where people get hit.
Right,
So,
seatbelts required in cars, right? Leaning back is waiting for these kinds of things to happen and then reacting to
more
them.
reactive.
Leaning forward is being proactive and saying, how do we prevent these kinds of things if we know they're going to happen?
Okay, good. Thanks, Ryan. Henry, you got any experience?
My experience is a bit unique because I come from the product background. I used to be a car designer for General Motors and Honda, designing exterior and interior cars. So my experience is in product development. So when I took this project on, I wanted to see if I could make something unique. And it deals with, actually, to be honest with you, starting out being a car designer, I don't even know what I don't know. So just jumping into making and developing a product that's I'm not familiar with, and going through the design phases, and then getting a utility patent. Every step was a challenge. Every step was a huge learning curve. But I'm glad I went through all that. And along the way, I just met a lot of great people that are willing to help. Regardless, and Mike is one of those. I joined a South Bay Entrepreneur Club and got involved with and met several great people, Patty and my CFO, Patrick, that helped pick out the business and learn what a spreadsheet is. And it was a great experience. As far as I don't have any experience as far as taking the city, and I hope I don't. I hope in the future anytime soon. because setting up, my goal for this company was to have it manufactured locally, 100% in the United States. And I firmly believe in that. But one of my challenges was that once I started to look into all the manufacturers in the area, there are no more expertise left to develop this type of footwear product. All the expertise has offloaded to Asia. And it was a bit frustrating in that part. But there are a lot of other manufacturing around where had several meetings and basically figure it out. What the takeaway is that don't be afraid what you don't know. There's so many resources here. We're very fortunate in Southern California. We have all this type of expertise in manufacturing and in entrepreneurship. I just can't believe all the positive response I've received over the years, just by people that love to hear about the product. Their eyes light up when they find out what it does. It's an amazing process, and I think as far as government and state, I think what can benefit entrepreneurs like myself and the rest of these guys is that I think a co-working space would be great to have, and just to make it easy because developing something brand new is hard enough, just to make it easy for entrepreneurs to do what they do, and also on the state level, I incorporated. I did all the research for this, set up a company to do a C Corp, Delaware C Corp, and incorporated, I believe, in 2013, somewhere around that time. So we're on the second phase of the final launch edition of this product. And since then, I've been paying $800 a month for franchise tax, and with no sales, and just to maintain a corporation. So with that money, I could easily put it into R&D, easily put it into product refinement. So on a state level, does it make sense for startups that has no revenue to pay the franchise tax? That's another question. So I think I totally agree with all you guys, and Patty, just all of these. You're dealing with a tall-headed monster that doesn't talk to each other. Right. But that's why it's so important to have these type of meetings and to coordinate everything so that everyone can learn from each other. Because I think it's going to be a little while before everyone's set up.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You have a couple patents too, right?
Yeah. So I have 2 patents, two utility patents, and something I had to learn from scratch painfully.
Yeah, I remember when you wrote it. So.
Yeah. So, but I don't regret anything. It's been a long road, but it's a great learning experience.
That's what entrepreneurship is. It's a lot of fun. Brian, any experience with the local city government at this early stage for you?
Yeah, absolutely. And more in my day job because we do residential and commercial solar, so I'm always talking with plan checkers, inspectors, department heads all around Southern California, and so that's from my primary experience with governments. And the one thing that I would say that can be helpful to new businesses and in new sectors such as augmented reality is that the flexibility that I've experienced in my day job, where occasionally we'll need an exception to a rule or some type of where the interpretation of the code is a little less rigid. I just encourage any government to keep that in mind so that new industries, new sectors are not stifled by old rules that may not apply to the new normal. In terms of augmented reality, I've worked with the city of Long Beach on a couple different projects, and it's always interesting when you have a technology that moves at the speed of light, and then you have government, which doesn't necessarily move so quickly. But the thing that they're really the thing that I've seen with city governments, especially in Long Beach, is that they're really excited about the potential of this technology to kind of reshape the experience in their downtown sectors, and other enterprise zones. I've worked with some of the business organizations to help some of their new clients or new tenants visualize, what can we do with this space? Is this going to be retail? Is this going to be a restaurant? Is it going to be a manufacturing space? So being able to embrace the possibilities of the technology to open new doors has been something that they've been excited about. And one of the things that we'll be working on going forward is how can we bring the history of Long Beach to life by using this technology? How can we connect, the 1 million people who come through the convention center every year with the rich history of the city, but also the local residents who may not know that they're walking down a historic corridor. So I've had a positive experience and look forward to engaging with more municipalities.
So Brian's breaking new ground in the augmented reality, which is a $2 trillion market. Every major Fortune 550 and 2,000 company is developing an augmented reality strategy to move their products. So you'll see more and more of it to come, and I know this young man will be successful with it. So instead of opening up the question, I think we're going to have a panel, or we're going to have a workshop, and I would ask my panelists to hang in a little bit. I'm going to put a plug in for the local educational environment as a support tool. So you got city, local government, and folks that are here. But I'm just looking out the building here. We've got a brand new science building that's going up right here behind us that will be open in about 2 years. And it's going to have an incubator, it's going to have science incubation, it's going to have a lot of technology support. And then about 2 buildings down, we're going to be breaking ground on a new business building as well. So look at your local campuses, work with them as well, make sure that you're engaged, because those resources are there, professors, students that want to learn, that want to help, and away you go. I'd like to give a round of applause to our panelists for sitting in. And Matt, Brian, Henry, Patty, and Brian, thanks a lot for your time here today. Please hang in a little bit. I'm sure people have questions for you, so thank you.